What's up, Vetters? Patrick here with Vetted. Today we're talking about this.
You say that the communications department of the White House reached out to you. What did they want?
Yes. Well, actually, I've been reached out to comms departments from not just the Pentagon, not just the White House, not just all the different intelligence agencies you can name. They were scrambling to figure out, to be the smartest person in the room, to find out if our president does make an announcement. Whatever he says, they need to be ahead of, as they say, ahead of the 8 ball, right?
Right. So what are they asking specifically?
They want to know how to transmit this information to the American public, the fundamentals.
We're releasing a lot of information having to do with extraterrestrial things, and people are totally fascinated by it. It's amazing. I wasn't sure if they would enjoy it. It's literally trending #1. Can you believe it?
If people keep the pressure on, the records will come out, more of them, and they will be shocking, some of them. David Grush testified to bodies, non-human intelligence bodies. So there's got to be autopsies, there's got to be photographs and footage.
All right, Vetters, please hit that like button. That really helps out the videos. And of course, if you're not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Today's video is about President Donald Trump making some interesting comments from the Oval Office. It has everyone talking, specifically a term he used when describing the new UFO files that have been dropping: extraterrestrial. So we'll be jumping into that, as well as some comments recently made by Jeremy Corbell on News Nation about alien autopsies, bodies, footage, and the fact that Jeremy Corbell has purportedly been reached out to by different comms departments, communications departments in the American government about how to disclose to the American people, we are not alone.
We're now releasing a lot of things having to do with space. It's people are very interested in that. It actually became the #1 topic. We're releasing a lot of information having to do with extraterrestrial things, and people are totally fascinated by it. It's amazing. I wasn't sure if they would enjoy it. It's literally trending #1. Can you believe it?
Mac, what's going on? What do you think of Donald Trump saying extraterrestrial in the Oval Office? Hit me with it. All right, so essentially this term being used, extraterrestrial, I admit is interesting, right? He's not calling it unidentified, right? UFOs or UAP or anything, or even non-human intelligence. He's saying extraterrestrials, right? But it's hard to tell what he exactly means by that, because Donald Trump is very loose with his words. I mean, in this same press conference in the Oval Office, he said, he talked about Lincoln and the Lincoln Memorial and like how it was built like after the Lincoln War. There was no Lincoln War.
If you take a look, the Lincoln Memorial, it was built, I guess, a little after the Lincoln War.
So is he just referring to the Civil War? I don't know. Again, Trump just kind of says things. So does he just associate extraterrestrial UFO, like it's just all together, but he doesn't know what's going on? You know what I mean? It's hard to tell. And you can tell what he likes is that it's #1, trending #1, and people like it. I think that's where his focus is. But does that mean more than we think, right? Does that mean something? Is that a big deal? I mean, he is the sitting president, right? And he's talking about releasing extraterrestrial files. That is a big deal. If you think about it, right? He is a sitting president to say that, and no one corrected him, although people are afraid to correct him, right? So, will they clarify? I don't know. There needs to be follow-up questions to that, to be honest with you. But on its face, that is a big deal to have the sitting president of the United States say they're releasing extraterrestrial files. Now, does that mean confirmed extraterrestrials or perceived extraterrestrials, right? Like that's the kind of context we need. But nonetheless, very interesting. And I see why people are kind of excited by it.
This film, Sleeping Dog, exists because the government chose silence over transparency. So we've been provoking change altogether. Everybody's been provoking change. And this is real journalism at its best, because we're not just reporting on power, we're moving power. If people keep the pressure on, the records will come out, more of them, and they will be shocking, some of them. David Grush testified to bodies, non-human intelligence bodies. So there's got to be autopsies. There's got to be photographs and footage.
So Jeremy Corbell went on News Nation and gave a very passionate interview. You can tell he's amped up. You know what I mean? He's you know, passionate. I really don't know any other word to use. And he seems very determined, which I don't think that's a bad thing, right? He's kind of the bulldog out there. All right, let him at it. You know, let him have it and let him go after this stuff. Even though I still think there's some questions, not from Jeremy's side, but just from the government side. But we do need people like Jeremy putting pressure on the government to clarify or release things and, you know, that sort of thing. So, you know, props to him for the work he's doing. So, you know, David Grush testified about bodies. Okay, and I agree. And there's always been a confusion, and I've talked about it a lot. You know, we're being gaslit about these UFOs and unidentified stuff, unresolved stuff. But you release some autopsy reports and photos and film footage of alien bodies, that pretty much, you know, erases any ambiguity about what we were talking about, right? So I'm leaning towards that, and I hope that's the route that they go, because that's what we need. That's what they've said they had. Right. So let's put these people's feet to the fire. And that's what I think Jeremy is doing. And I appreciate that work. You know, people are like, oh, he's so amped up. Yeah, okay, whatever. You ever been around passionate people before? Like, I'm Latin, dog. I'm super passionate. That doesn't bother me. It's the end results. You know, we need people out there putting the pressure. So I see nothing wrong with it. We got to ask questions. We got to be critical. We got to put on pressure. I just don't see anything wrong with that.
You say that the communications department of the White House reached out to you. What did they want?
Yes. Well, actually, I've been reached out to comms departments from not just the Pentagon, not just the White House, not just all the different intelligence agencies you can name. They were scrambling to figure out, to be the smartest person in the room, to find out if our president does make an announcement, whatever he says, they need to be ahead of, as they say, ahead of the 8 ball, right?
Right. So what are they asking specifically?
They want to know how to transmit this information to the American public, the fundamentals. We are not alone, or whatever it might be. How do you describe? You have to define the terminology. You also have to say why you've kept this hidden for so many years, who you've hurt to keep it hidden. Why would you hold this back, the nature of reality from humankind? Why would you do it? So the comms people were trying to figure out how to look like heroes.
All right, these are some great points by Jeremy. And, you know, you have to define the terminology. Boom. That stuck out to me because that's something I've been saying, right, a lot recently, that the terminology could be, you know, weaponized against us, right, and used against us, right? We could be manipulated by that terminology of what exactly do they mean. So I'm glad that he's pushing for that. And again, you know, this is good news if you ask me. What's going to come of it? I don't know. It, you know, it sounds like a in case scenario rather than a happening scenario. Does that make sense? People might just be putting out feelers in case something happens, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen. And I think people are getting a little confused there, maybe jumping the gun, which is fine. I totally get it. If you're excited about this, you know, it's okay to jump the gun a little bit. I get it. But just realistically, I think that's what's going on. And I mean, if there is going to be a disclosure day, that is what would happen before that happens, right? You would put out feelers and try to figure out what's going on and get advice and talk to people who maybe are familiar with this topic, right? So, you know, is this the beginning of a long checklist that ends with, you know, we are not alone on this planet and never have been? You know, could be, right? So I'm doubtful, but at the same time, I'm hopeful. Is that possible? in my brain, it is. I don't know how that is. It's like, yeah, I want that to happen. Realistically, I don't know, right? You know, you arguably you could say, well, all the surrounding news and activities point towards that happening, right? And that's what kind of scares me, because maybe there's just a part of me that's like, oh, this sounds too good to be true. And what I've learned in my life, things that are too good to be true oftentimes are too good to be true. But nonetheless, I'm going to keep supporting people like Jeremy who are out there fighting the fight. I mean, what am I doing? You know what I mean? I'm armchairing this stuff. I think a lot of us are. So let them at it, right? What does it hurt you? Doesn't hurt you or me or anybody to have Jeremy and people like him out there putting pressure and having something happen. You know, I don't know, right? And there's pressure from all kinds of different people, right? So I support all of that at the end of the day. I really do. Even though I'm pissed about some of the stuff that gets released, you know, I think we are in a fight with the government. It's hard for me to trust the government, which is crazy to say. I love America, right? It's such a weird thing to be like, you know, the government can lie to us just because they do, right? So you're trying to work with the entity that you think is lying to you. Does that make sense? It's like, you know what I mean? It's like you're trying to get the mob boss's help about the mob boss's wrongdoing. It's almost like we got to trick the government into this. And at the same time, there's a tightrope about national security, protecting American citizens, protecting American interests. Those are real issues that we can't just forget, right? America has adversaries. We need to be protected as Americans. So, you know, it is just a tight, you know, tightrope, man. Come on, right? You know what I mean? It's just walking that tightrope is just extremely difficult. So I don't know, but I'm in a cheery mood today. So, you know, I'm gonna, you know, remain hopeful for all of this in today's video. Mac, dime, dile a la gente, huh? Tell everyone. What do you think? ETs? We're gonna find out the truth about aliens? What do you think? Tell me. Huh? All right. He won't talk to me till I give him a raise. Anyway, let's see where this goes. Let me know what you think down in the comments. We'll see you guys on the next one. Remember, Vedas, every day's a gift, y'all. Peace.